Welcome, travelers. Kevin Moody, Moody's Ozarks Traveler here, and I am at Silver Dollar City, and this is the first in my series, Silver Dollar City Saturdays, which you'll probably see on a Sunday. But that's kind of how this works, unless you want to see it a week later. But anyway, we are out here in front of the McAfee Homestead, and we are going to look around today at Silver Dollar City and some of the changes that have taken place, some of the new changes that are coming, some of the old changes that have been. We're just going to talk about change a little bit today. Change affects our lives. We tend to resist change, but sometimes change is actually really good. And even when horrible changes come our way, when we have the proper attitude and we're connected to the right resources, that change we can turn for something good. Join me. One of the first changes that I want to talk about from my memory is this restaurant right here. To give you a little bit of perspective where we're at, there's the hotel over there, and there's the where in the Christmas time the tree stands. But if memory serves me correctly, this building here was a large platform, at least part of it was, and this is where they would have Union soldiers march out in a procession, and then they would fire off cannon. It was all open air, very much undeveloped at the time. If anybody knows if this is actually, if I'm remembering this correctly or if I got it completely wrong, that's what my memory tells me, is this used to be a platform where they would fire cannon with Union soldiers. And if you look at the flooring in here, I'm going to go along here, go right over here, and if I'm correct, I think this is the old floor of the platform where they would do that. I could be 100% wrong. If I am, let me know. If you remember exactly where the cannons were being fired, let me know. Okay, another change. We're out here in front of the Valley Wood Carvers. And actually this was a toy shop, wood-carved toy shop, first time I came out here. But panning to the right, one of the changes is, right up there, you're going to have to imagine, right up there, you see that picture there? Well, right around there used to stand a big tree, okay? And now that big tree, that was a concrete tree, one of them petrified trees. And you could walk up inside that tree, and from that tree you would come over to this platform right here. Of course, there was a swinging bridge of sorts there that you would cross, and up there, that was Huckleberry Finn's or Tom Sawyer's tree house, and there were all kinds of things that you could do in there. One of the first changes that came to that was this exit right here. I don't know how well you can see it in the light there, but there's steps up there. Actually, where those steps come down, they turned right, and they went into this building right here. See this building right here. And inside this building right here, they had one of those dark features where you're just walking through a little maze-like. You can't see but a couple feet in front of you. But they had lights as a star field all around you. I remember this was one of my favorite attractions when I was a real youngster, especially that tree. I mean, climbing up inside the tree, how cool was that? And right over here, of course, we have it where it would exit out, and I think it actually exited out this way. Might have exited out right down here. So the first change was they closed that down, the little star-filled maze. The next phase, though, was they closed the platform down. They'd made a few changes to it before that. And then the final change, just about a year or two ago, after boarding up the tree, they removed the tree. So sad to see that tree go. Yet another change down here, right past the live soap shop, is the knife shop. Now the knife shop actually used to be a rifle shop. And right over here to the side, this was their musket range. Now, as a little 10-year-old boy, stood right there and fired my first musket. Now you really can't see much. You come around the back here, and there's your musket target right there. See? The sign says, let me zoom in on that for you. Gun making and expert repair. And so this was a musket range where you could fire genuine muskets with a Kentucky long rifle. The knife shop, which was originally a gun shop. Not all changes that we experience in life are good or bad. They're just changes. Why did they change from a gun shop to a knife shop? I don't know. Maybe their expert gunsmith retired or passed away. Now they got an expert knife maker. So, is it a change? Yes. Is it a change that I necessarily enjoyed? Not really. Is it a bad change? Not at all. Now, one of the changes here is the American Plunge. Now, I remember when I was a much younger fellow, the American Plunge seemed like it was a much longer ride. It kind of went all the way throughout the area. And if you go over to Wildfire, you can see portions of the log ride still there that they no longer use. I'm guessing it's changed that they had to make more room for other things in the park. And you still have your log ride feature. But it's one of those changes where you're kind of like, meh. Oh no, somebody fell out.
Someone fell out.
Well, just an interesting story about this. The largest recorded splash in the history of Silver Dollar City, as I was told. My sister, my brother-in-law, one of my nephews, and my wife all rode one of these logs at the same time. Now, with the exclusion of my wife, Donella, we're all big people, and I'm probably the smallest one in the bunch of my family. We come down this flume, and we splashed water. It came up all the way around here, splashed all the way over this. It splashed all the way up there to the picture booth, right there. And it splashed and covered that building right there. Not water draining down, but it covered that building right there. One recent and one of the more fundamental changes is this Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer's river raft ride. I'm kind of looking at it through the thickets here in this big old open space right here. About 2014, I'm about to talk about how you respond to changes. In 2014, I had a huge change that changed me completely, entirely. Now, one of the things, you have two ways to respond to changes. You can either get better or get bitter. And sometimes the struggle between the two, getting better and bitter, sometimes it doesn't make itself very clear how that's going to turn out. But I had a huge health change. I went from being no problems whatsoever except the normal aches and pains, backaches, all that kind of stuff. Starting in June 20th, Father's Day actually, of 2014, went into a sickness that ultimately ended up on August 5th, me going into the hospital for emergency surgery. And the real change happened. I went in to that operating room one person, and I came out another person. I went in a strong and resilient person who just didn't give up, who stood no matter what, to somebody that was weak and not able to do much. And for a long time, for a very long time, I had more bad days than I have had good days. I'm happy to report I have more good days than bad days now, but you know, still the bad days, they come and get you, and they knock you off your feet. You just roll with the punches, you get back up after a rest and keep going. One of the reasons, one of my motivations for doing this YouTube channel is to give myself something to push forward to, something to look forward to the next day, something to drive me, to push me, and hopefully to help some of you along the way, to entertain you, and to provide you with things that you didn't know about, fill your head with funny little facts and trivia. So really the choice, when change comes your way, I want to ask you right now, what kind of change have you had in your life that made you adjust who you are and what you're about? Because the one thing that I want to talk about through this, change is inevitable. Change comes. We've got to face change. We've got to embrace change. Some change feels horrible. Some change seems like it's the end of the world. But all change brings a path towards good if you let it. And so, what kind of change have you had in your life? Go ahead and answer in the comments below, that caused you to rethink. And would you say that the change caused you to be better, or did it cause you to be bitter? And let me encourage you, if it caused you to be bitter, contact me, we'll talk. Because I struggled a long time with that. But I hope ultimately I've come out better. And I'll talk more about that change as we go along. But what I want to say, no matter what your circumstance is, no matter what change comes your way, find the good in it. Because there's always good in change, even if it feels irrevocably bad. There's always good. Okay, so I've talked about old changes at Silver Dollar City, and I've talked about some personal changes in my own life. Now there's a new change that is just being revealed to us as the park opens without any fanfare at all. I'm going down some steps here, so I apologize for the shaky camera. But you see that tree right there? Yeah, right there. And that brick wall around it? Well, there actually used to be a stream running right down through there. And they have removed the stream. I always did like the stream. And at first, for about the first 30 seconds thinking about it, I was a little disappointed that they removed the stream. But then I got to thinking about it. This was one of the most congested areas in the park. And now with the stream removed, it looks like it's given them about 10 extra feet, some places 5, of walkway. And they're getting ready for something really new right over here. Now we're standing in front of the area that I'll let her get past that high note. Now we're standing right in front of and walking along what used to be the area for the Lost River, and that is now sectioned off. You can smell the pine and the cedar, and it smells good. They are building something new here, and I peeked a little bit through the knotholes, and it looks like it's going to be another water feature. But most of y'all remember it as the Lost River. However, I remember it as something that I enjoyed even better than the Lost River. If I can find some pictures of it, I'll put it up here. But this used to be the site of not just the Silver Dollar Lake, or Silver Dollar City Lake, whatever you want to call it, Lake Silver Dollar. I think that's what they called it. This is also the site of the Dugan's Diving Bell. Now, Dugan's Diving Bell was a really cool, interactive ride. Basically what it was about submersibles. You would all board this large diving bell. I think it held about 20, 30 people, something like that. And you would get in there, and if you were waiting outside in the ride queue, you would see a boat come out and submerge. And then from inside the ride, you would see yourself pursuing that boat. And it was one of the very first interactive rides, virtual reality rides. And it was actually pretty cool. I remember I made my dad take me on it so many times. And you would you get in there, you'd sit down, and it was on a movie projector. And you'd sit and watch this, and the ride would gimbal and rock and shake and do all those kinds of things as you were riding in it, according to what was on the screen. And then trouble would come, and all of a sudden boards would break, water would start spewing all over, and you got a little wet. And it was a pretty cool ride. Wish they had something like that still, but many more people have enjoyed the Lost River, and so many more people to come later will enjoy whatever this is going to turn out to be. And that's another change, but I think it's going to be an improvement in the park. Now, another thing, the courseway that we just walked down, they used to have a whole bunch of stuff overhead. That's all been moved. It feels more open and more free. It's a good positive change. Not just the stream gone. And also there's a few restaurants in there that are no longer around, and this wraps all the way around. There used to be a clothing shop right here. So yeah, quite a few things changing. Tell me if you will, I don't remember this water feature here. I do believe that this is a new addition, maybe to pay homage to the stream that is no longer there. I don't know if you know if this is a new feature or if I'm just hallucinating and it's been there for years. We are right next to the Riverfront Playhouse. And there's this water feature that I don't remember right over here.
Well, it doesn't look new, though.
No, it really doesn't look new. It looks aged. But, you know, they can do amazing things with props these days. So, tell me down in the comments below, is that new? Or have I just been out of it? I've probably been out of it. Now, right through here. Okay, this is the Pearl Shack. We're right across catty corner from the toy shop and one of the food places there. Last year, this was the Magician shop. And before that, it used to be a shop where you could buy those paintings of the country scenes, you know, with the log cabin and the train in the background. You could have your name on the mailbox. Now the Pearl Shop. Right in front of Lucky Toys. They've opened this up a little bit once again. And I think they actually did this last year. But turn around, look back here. There used to be some type of a canopy going across the top there, and that's gone. And I gotta admit, even though it provided a little bit of shade, it's a lot more open and free with that gone. So now, if you were wondering what happened to the train shop that used to be appropriately located in the train depot, which they moved around, I think, so that they could get your pictures, I believe this is where they've relocated it to. We'll find out on April 10th. We're right in front of the train crossing on the way to the Pottery Barn. Hill Creek Pottery Barn. I like saying that. Pottery Barn. Okay, one of the final recent changes that I'm going to document is right here. The roadway coming out of the new section of park, the World's Fair Exposition, 1904, I believe is what they're calling it, or 1886, something like that. Is this roadway right here. If you see that building, Hatfield's Tater Patch. Now, when you were walking through this way, you would actually come right down there. That's the exit to the flooded mine, and you would walk right down this way. What they've done is they flip-flop things a little bit, and this is now the eatery. You used to eat over here in the trees. Now they've opened that up and cleared it out for walking. And once again, that's another change that improves the park overall, in my opinion, because now it's not so crowded walking through here. Well, now, if you've enjoyed this video, I'm going to ask a real simple favor from you. Please go on to the channel, Moody's Ozarks Traveler, or click in the link below here. Click on that subscribe button. Hit the like button, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, go ahead and tell me why. I would appreciate your input. If you liked it, tell me what you liked about it. I appreciate that too. Probably appreciate that more. Just being honest here. And then hit the little bell down there to make sure that you get notifications when I put out videos. So you'll see the next one. This is Kevin Moody being trampled by horses. So, travelers, to sum things up, change is an essential part of our life. Change, even when it's painful, is essential for the beginning of new life. Change is inevitable in the human condition. It's always going to happen. It's how we embrace that change that makes all the difference. And I'd like to encourage you, if you're going through changes right now and you're having difficulty with those changes and you don't know which direction to turn, which way to go, I'd like to tell you about the one who never changes. But I'm just going to tell you that his son is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And when you become friends with his son, you automatically become part of his family. And you can talk to his father anytime that you choose to. But you can also go to his house every Sunday and most Wednesdays and sometimes Tuesdays and Thursdays and sometimes every day of the week, just depending on what's going on. His house is always open, is always ready for you. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to visit his house and I'm going to go talk to my friend who sticks closer than a brother.
My shepherd, and I have everything I need. When this world has wore me down, he cradles me in fields of green. And because I thirst for his kind love, he leads me to drink from those quiet pools of water. He provides to give me strength.